What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as I did mention in last week's video, I am still going to be doing the Crew 2 summits on top of the Motorfest summits. Now that could change, but at least at the moment I'm having a great time doing both of them. So I might end up only doing like the cars that come out, like for example the Cayman GT4 or even something like the Wrangler. But do let me know in the comments below if you guys would like me to cover every single summit weekly. Now, I would probably say players are still going to jump into these and do them. For example, last week in that summit, we had 91,000 people on that one on just PlayStation, by the way, so that's pretty dang impressive. Besides that, though, this summit is going to be a nice mix-up. It's mainly going to be street races, as you can see, there's three of them. We're then going to have a drift event and Alpha GP there, and then also a touring car race. We're then going to have a slalom and escape and a speed trap. Now for the speed trap, I would say these are going to be pretty easy to do for the most part. I did end up using the lovely Corvette Stingray, which I would say everybody is. I mean, look at the leaderboard here on my friends list, and if I go to the top players, if I hit the right button, you will probably notice that many people are running it. Now, if you are looking to get a max score of like 447 miles per hour on it, keep in mind that you're going to have to slipstream somebody to get that high of a time on this one. Besides that, though, for the escape, this one's going to be fairly simple. Basically, jump into a hypercar of your choice and go as far as you possibly can on it. Once you guys see the objective when you spawn in this area, basically hit a left, jump onto the road, follow that up to the highway, and then pretty much go until you cannot go anymore. Now, I did end up cutting this one short because I did not see a point of doing 100,000 yards on it. I would actually say around 30,000 or so, you should be good to go around like 155,000 points. You don't have to do like 150,000 yards. I mean, I only did 24,000, still got 151K, but I kind of turned around and I was like, I'm good, bro. Let's go back toward the objective. No reason to overdo it. And then for the slalom, I did end up running a rallycross vehicle on this one. Now you can basically use any vehicle of your said choice as long as you have a score breaker set on it. I would say getting these slaloms done is going to be incredibly easy to do. Luckily, if you guys do have a score breaker set on like a rallycross, a motocross bike, those are all still going to work just fine on these. Besides that, we're then going to have a touring car race, which is going to be a Seattle United States City Speed Tour event. I actually really enjoyed these races. If you are wondering what is going to be the best car to run, well, to be honest, I would actually say pick something like the Saleen S7R or the FXXK. I would probably say the S7R after the recent handling updates we had in this game. The S7R is easily going to be the best overall option for this event. The big thing, guys, is watching out for the AI because I would say they can be pretty wonky in this event. They'll basically drive around in like a circle and crash for no apparent reason, so do keep an eye out for those when you're doing it. Besides that, we're then going to have an event with the lovely Crown Victoria cab here, which surprisingly, this car is not terrible. Like, I don't mind it. I know a lot of players might jump into this thing and go, man, this car is awful. I have to say, though, it's really not a bad vehicle. Sure, with the proper settings on it, it's probably going to make it a lot better with it actually being upgraded. And keep in mind, this thing is also going to be a 4-speed with it, so if you are running manual, it's probably going to be a tad frustrating to use it. Besides that, in the no restriction race here, I actually decided to run something a tad different. I did use the Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. I love this car. Is it going to be the best car? Well, to be honest, it's probably not the best street race car, but it's still going to be a great option overall to get a higher time on these events. And I would say the Carrera 4S is probably going to be slightly slept on. Besides that, though, we're then going to have to race the Crown Victoria Limousine, which I do have a feeling, well, players are probably not going to like this car all that much, and I can definitely see why it's going to be a limo. Funny thing is, I have to admit, guys, it actually handles pretty well. Now, I know that probably sounds a bit insane, but no, seriously, it does handle pretty decently. I would recommend trying out my settings on it. One big thing I can recommend, though, is do not be afraid to cut corners with this car because it handles a lot better than you actually think it does. At least I was noticing that when I was driving it, I thought it was going to be awful. Turns out for a limousine, it turns pretty well. Besides that, we're then going to have a drift event. For this, you have to use an Aventador, and I would say these are probably going to be incredibly easy to do them. Don't get me wrong, though, I do understand the drifting in this game is a bit wonky at times for a lot of players, but I would recommend practicing with the Aventador. Now, you don't have to get like 900,000 points on this. I would actually say like 400k or so, 450. You should be around 150,000 points, maybe a little bit less or more. So you don't have to get a crazy amount of points to do good on these events. And I would say the Aventador overall is a pretty good drift car. And then for the final event though, you're then going to have to use an Alpha GP car on a hypercar event. For me, I actually decided to run the Red Bull RB13, which, don't get me wrong, is not the best car to use, but I really do like the RB so much. They're probably my favorite models of the Red Bull vehicles and stuff. I do know the Alpha Mark II is easily going to be the best option for this event. If you guys are looking for the best overall car, that is definitely the one. I do actually like to pick odd vehicles and see how I can do with them, even though I'm most likely not going to have the highest score with some of the odd vehicles, compared to something like some of the meta cars like the Mark II that are definitely going to be better. Overall, though, I would say this summit is going to be a pretty fun time to do it. I do understand the reward for this one is going to be a Nitro Chemist boosted for a drift car, which I would say most players are definitely going to want to get it. I'm most likely guaranteeing the Slippery and Hothead is going to be upgraded, so definitely go after that, guys, if you do not have it. But if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. Let's jump right into this.